have a distribution of tires. This means that all the drivers at the start will race on the same equal conditions.
And I heard rumors about new regulations for fuel.
Yes, we will have new fuel next year. We are going to have a test year together with ELF, I suppose, and we will create a working group with other people from the petroleum companies to come to a common fuel, a unique fuel for all our championships, to put also the drivers on the same conditions.
Well, interesting information there for the future of karting, and certainly trying to even the things up a bit for the World Championships. Interesting that they'll be putting all of the karts on the same tyres for this year's World Championship to be held in Cordoba in September. At the moment, a series of different tyre companies involved in the karting European Championships, and therefore it'll even things up a bit if everybody is running on the same tyres at the World Championships. Well, this is the first formation lap for the first final race of the Formula A karts. There are two classes of karts racing at Valence this weekend, Formula A and Formula Super A. And as you would imagine, Formula Super A, the top rank, the sort of Formula 1 of the karting world. Formula A just below that, and the competitors who do well in Formula A 1 year then allowed to go through into Formula Super A the following year. So here we go then, coming round, ready to start the first race for the Formula A competitors. This competitive bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-old youngsters all trying to forge a way in the world of motorsport, and many of these youngsters will be getting through to the ranks of Formula 3 and perhaps into Formula 1 in the next few years. Start of race 1 then, and shooting down to the first corner, you can see there's not a lot of space as they come charging down to the first bend, and the race leader at the moment as they come round is Arnaud Sarrazin. So the Frenchman going very well out in front at the moment. Sarrazin leading the rest of the pack, but there's been an incident already towards the back of the field, and a whole group of competitors involved in that. Edward Peed involved there as well. That's one of the British runners in the event, so that's unfortunate. He's out of it, or certainly out of the front-running group straight away. Christian Julien, Cedric Convers also involved in that little contretemps in the first lap, but the race leader, Arnaud Sarrazin, looking very, very strong indeed. And, well, already having pulled out quite a big lead over second-place man. And just a bit of pressure going on as 162 moving up, and Andrea Temperini coming up through the field. Also Finn Sode, that's Finn Sode there in second place, in third position now, the 168 machine. And Sarrazin still leading very, very comfortably. He really hasn't got too much pressure on him at all. So Alexander Swelber holding on to third position. The Sarrazin, 17-year-old Frenchman on the Works Swiss Hutlers kart. He's managing to extend his advantage, if anything, over in second place. Finn Sode, man from Denmark. And then a little bit more of a gap back to third place. Now then, can the Danish driver in second position try and close up to the Frenchman in the lead? All of these karts running with 100cc two-stroke engine, no gearbox. The competitor's not having to worry about a clutch and changing gear. It's just an accelerator and brake. Braking with the left foot, accelerating with the right foot, and the brake's just operating on the rear axle, so just one disc brake on the rear axle. So that's why you see as they come into the corners how the rear wheels just lock up slightly and the karts just twitch on the brakes, and then they're back on the power to drive them through the corners. 136 and 165 having a good battle at Michel Pourrier and Andrea Temperini coming through, and somebody just running a little bit wide as well. That's 131 just getting pushed out a little bit, Alexander Engels, but he's managed to keep it on the track and under control. 165 getting it all crossed up. Andrea Temperini, the Italian, who's very, very quick indeed, but prone to making the odd mistake, but holding on to third place, just ahead of Michel Pourrier from France, and Temperini looking as though he may well be able to catch up to the two leaders up in front. Really beginning to go very, very quickly indeed now. These cars running on slick tyres and using just two sets of slicks they're allowed over the weekend, or two sets of wets if it should happen to rain. So limitations on how many tyres they can use. There are limitations on the equipment in other ways as well. They're only allowed to have two chassis at any one meeting, and 3 engines, as we see another little battle going on, and some good progress there coming up through the field. Julien Degot managing to find a way past Marco Barindelli, and Barindelli having to forsake that position. So that's a battle a little bit further down the field, but battles going on all the way through at the moment. Still those two wheel to wheel, and still just about holding on Julien Degot. And he's just inside the top 10 at the moment, but still under a fair bit of pressure. Race 24 laps of this 1100 meter circuit, and the circuit here at Valence, one of the finest of the kart circuits, really a superb venue and ideal for the karting European Championships first rounds. Just back in the background there, you can see 143 Ricky Homewood, British driver, just out of shot at the moment. He's in the next little group, and well, he had that kart going well in qualifying, and he's well up in the overall rankings there as well, running just outside the top 10 at the moment, but having a good race nonetheless. Still race leader though is Arnaud Sarrazin, still controlling this race from the front, looking very good. Julien Degot there, still under a fair bit of pressure. Marco Barindelli in the 149 kart, he's really giving him some pressure as well, and they're trying to get past number 169 at the moment, see if they can find a way through, but so far they're not having too much luck. 169, Luca Casazza from Italy. 17 countries represented here in the European Championships. Really is superb turnout. There are over 60,000 license holders in karting throughout the world, and it really is one of the most popular forms of four-wheeled motorsport of any type. There's our race leader, Arnaud Sarrazin, just really showing the opposition how it should be done. He's a former champion himself in a different class known as Intercontinental, and that's a very similar, still 100cc two-stroke engines, but slightly different regulations on what license you need to get into it. These drivers really are the top drivers of their various countries. They have to qualify for virtually a karting super license to be able to race in Formula A and Formula Super A. As moving up and into second place now comes Andrea Temperini. So Andrea Temperini, a superb effort there, working his way up through the field, up into second. Now, can he do anything about Arnaud Sarrazin up at the front? He's quite a long way back, so he really has got some work to do, and he gets it really crossed up coming down to the end hairpin, but keeps it under control beautifully. There you can see a fine example of how when he gets on the brakes, the rear end of the kart is twitching out, and then he's just off the brakes, back on the power. Now you can see he's putting his hand down to the side there. Now that's all about allowing the engine to hopefully last a little bit longer. These are two-stroke engines, remember. It means they run on a mixture of, as just battling back past again is Finn Sode. So Finn Sode back into second. This is a great battle, in fact, for second place. Finn Sode back in front of it again, and Temperini with the chance of trying to find a way through. Can he get back past the Dane? Oh, has he got a problem? He looks down. Doesn't look as though he has. Something flapping around. I think that's just a sticker on the side of the cart that's flying around. But as I was saying, they're putting their hand down to richen the mixture into the engine. When they put their hand down at the side there, they're just covering up the air inlet on the carburetor. It means that more of the fuel oil mixture goes into the engine just as they lift off the throttle at the end of the straights. Otherwise there's no lubrication for the engine, and these very, very highly tuned two-stroke engines are liable to seize up if they're not getting enough of their fuel oil mixture in them, especially when they're on high revs at the end of the straight. And look at this, Temperini coming down the inside. There's contact between the two of them, and Temperini retakes second place, and Finn Sode gets punted off to the side and drops down to third place. Well, an aggressive piece of driving from Temperini, but he just had it all locked up a little bit as he came down the inside. Just a little bit of contact. It was enough really to keep Temperini on the tarmac just right, and poor old Finn Sode that suffered the consequences and went off on the outside of the track. So Temperini now in a fairly comfortable second place, but it's still this man leading it. Arnaud Sarrazin out in front and looking to control this first final of the Formula A karts. There are two finals to run So he's halfway to his objective at the moment if he can just keep it all together up to the checkered flag, and indeed he does. So Arnaud Sarrazin takes the win in the first race from the Formula A karts, and an excellent first victory for him. That means he's got plenty of points in the championship to start things off for the season. Finn Sode ending up in third place, as you can see, and the Frenchman Perrier in fourth place. Rejoin us in just a moment for the second race for the Formula A's.
Eurosport.
Somliga kanske tycker att 185 hästar är för mycket och 3 dörrar för lite. Men det är ju en personlig fråga. Själv älskar den här bilen. Det är mycket Saab för mig med 3 dörrar och turbo. Den som väljer en kupé brukar i första hand inte veta att det är en praktisk bil. Men det känns ju skönt att veta att man fått en ändå.
The world's greatest marathons on Eurosport with Reebok. The Paris Marathon, Sunday at 2 p.m. on Eurosport.
All the goals, all the action, all the emotion that the stadiums can offer. Eurogoals brings you the best championship action from across Europe. Results, league tables. Eurogoals, Monday, 11 p.m. here on Eurosport.
Welcome back to Valence. Formula A car, view of one of the machines with driver not aboard. They weigh, and that's a weight that they all work very.
50 right. Aangeduwd, u begrijpt dat men geen versnellingen aan.
Competitors to be thrown out of the event afterwards for being as little as 100 grams.
Für den europäischen Tuning und Testing die das beste Landesvertreter aus der jeweiligen Landesmeisterschaft.
Hard to get them up, and all weekend the teams are working absolutely flat out these karts to perform at their best. The competitive nature of this level of karting is just incredibly high, and as we'll see in a moment as well with the Formula Super A's, it really is very, very tough competition as well. So about to get the second race underway. They're coming round on their formation lap once again, and Arnaud Sarrazin starts from pole position courtesy of his win in the first race. An excellent performance from him, and lining up second, can Andrea Temperini apply a bit more pressure in the early stages? Temperini seemed to be catching up a little bit when he was in second place. There's Temperini on our right and Sarrazin on our left, who's going to be able to get the start. We've got Michel Perrier just in there as well. They're coming round to end this first formation lap. They'll be coming round to the start line in just a moment. A rolling start required, of course, for these direct drive machines. Without a clutch, their pump started to get them going in the first place, and a rolling start required, and here they come round then to the lights. The light changes to green, and Sarrazin a superb start, and Temperini all over the place in his attempts to, and there's contact further down the field, somebody climbing over somebody else, and in fact Ricky Homewood was involved in that. So the British driver in trouble. There he is in the red overalls. He's pushing the other one off him, and somebody else in trouble as well. Other people getting into problems. 135 ending up rolling up, and big problems on the first couple of corners this second race. Let's hope everybody okay. There is our race leader once again, Arnaud Sarrazin. And let's have a little look back. There's Ricky Homewood being attacked from behind, and the other cart right up over his machine. And well, it took them a few minutes to get themselves sorted out and work out what was going on. That's Alexandra Engels on Ricky's shoulder. They managed to get in the background there. You can see the other one upside down. That was the other incident we saw, rolling as they came together through the second part of the quarter, and Sarrazin gets it very crossed up, and Temperini goes off, the Italian off from second place. And, well, what an amazing instant that was. Sarrazin just got it completely crossed up, and it just seemed to throw Temperini off his rhythm, and he was forced out wide, went in too quick to that first corner, and, well, he was straight off into the little gravel bed by the side of the track. So Temperini out of action. Sarrazin now with a bit more of a lead, and looking that much more comfortable. Vinceau going well in second place, and he's still trying to apply the pressure, but there is Sarrazin looking very, very good indeed. Vinceau in second, then it's Luca Casazza in third position, and this the battle really for second, third and fourth positions. Marco Barindelli back there again in the number 149. Sarrazin coming under a little bit more pressure perhaps this time from Vinceau, and then the battle going on for third place as well. Sarrazin hasn't been headed yet in these two races, but can he hold on at the front? It's getting pretty frantic behind him. See what he can do. He certainly hasn't drawn away as much as he did last time, and Vinceau applying the pressure all the time as they come through. Crouching down as they get onto the straight to try and improve the aerodynamics, try and gain a little bit more straight line speed. It all makes a difference in the world of karting. Now you can see, look at that, crouching down, head down. Sarrazin just holding a tighter line into the hairpin just to make sure he covered the inside line, trying not to allow anybody down the inside. Flicks it into the left-hander, and still holds the control of this race at the moment. Vinceau in a good, strong second place though, and still trying to challenge, still trying to come through if he can. Just in third place still, Luca Casazza, and just in behind him still Barindelli. But Sarrazin looks as though he's still got this race under control. Looking very strong indeed. And on his home circuit, the Frenchman is performing exactly the way he wanted to in this first round of the European Series. 2 rounds held this weekend. 2 rounds in Italy for the next round of the championship. They're also visiting Belgium and Holland, 2 rounds in each country, so it's an 8-race series, and the best 5 results out of those 8 races count to decide who wins the overall European Championship. And it is a vital win, very important. There's a lot of money at stake, particularly from the kart manufacturers, and wins in the European Championship in both Formula A and Super A really vital to the sales success of all the kart and engine and tyre manufacturers involved at this level. Sarrazin still in control then, and Vinceau still ducking behind that steering wheel, trying to gain as much straight line speed as he can. You can see them bouncing sometimes as they come out of the corners as well. Another karting technique to try and get the weight off the seat for a moment, just to allow the kart to accelerate, particularly out of the tighter corners, just to try and help the engine build up its speed. These engines revving up to around 16,000 RPM. They really are very, very high revving, very highly tuned little motors, producing around about 24 horsepower, which may not sound a lot, but let me tell you, on a kart this light, they really do perform superbly well. Top speed, depending on the circuit, anywhere between 80 to perhaps on the longer tracks with long straights, anywhere up to 100 mile an hour. We've got a change here for second place. As going up into second place, Luca Casazza. Oh, and there's trouble behind, and off in the background, number 187, that's Davide Fore, and it doesn't look as though he's going to be able to rejoin too easily. So Davide off, but the battle's still on for second. So let's look in the background. There was Davide Fore, and well, he nearly went over, luckily landing back on his all 4 wheels and off into the straw bales at the side of the track, unhurt. But certainly that cost him a fair bit of time. Here's the battle for third position still. Marco Barindelli still just holding on to third place, but he's coming under more and more pressure from Michel Perrier. And Perrier trying to go down the inside. Yes, he gets there, and the Frenchman gets past. So Perrier taking third place. And he really is going very well indeed. Luka Kasatsa down to fourth place position now. But still out in front is Arnaud Sarrazin. And still in control. He really has put together a good couple of races so far. If he can hold on to this sort of form for the rest of the year, everyone else is certainly going to have to watch out for him. 1:36, really tucking in to try and gain a little bit more speed. That's our third place man, Michel Perrier. There is Sarrazin still in front of Luka Kasatsa. Then it's Perrier. There is Perrier, the Frenchman, still applying the pressure. Marco Barindelli still just tucked in behind him. There you see just a little bouncing, although that's pretty much an effect of the bumps on the circuit there. No suspension on karts. It's not allowed to have any form of suspension, although the latest karts do have some degree of flex. They're allowed a certain amount of flex in the frame, and the suspension of a kart is very much really in the amount that the frame can twist slightly. It's designed to actually twist and provide a little bit of flex. But some of the latest karts also using different ways of mounting the front wheels, the front hubs, and that allows a little bit more flexibility, and that almost gives the front hubs a little bit of movement relative to the frame. Lots of advancements made in the world of karting, but it's always little bits, little chipping away. So the karts haven't changed in character a lot over the years, as this is a change for second place, and Perrier going through. So Perrier going past Luka Kasatsa. Perrier moves up into second place now, and he really is the man on the charge at the moment, going very quickly indeed. That was a very clean, easy manoeuvre for him really to move into second place, and he goes chasing after now his countryman Arnaud Sarrazin. See whether he can close that gap up at all as they complete the remaining laps of this second final. More battles going on further down the field. 1-1-1, David O'Neill, British driver, having a good old tussle there, trying to find his way past. See if he can move up a place from Marco Dupont. And David O'Neill, he's running in 8th place at the moment, so it's a good performance from him. Trying to work his way further up into the top 10, but anywhere in the top 10 at this level of karting really is a performance that's worth shouting about, because it is such a high level of competition here. These two having a great tussle now, 4th position just ahead of him, Marco Dupont and Maxime Kumpen as well. But it's still Arnaud Sarrazin very much in control, out in front, and leading this race very, very comfortably, making it look quite easy. Using the Techno kart, using the Rotax engine, Austrian-built engine, which has really been the force to be reckoned with. And there he is, taking the checkered flag. So Arnaud Sarrazin making it 2 wins in a row. And really has been a superb day for him. Michel Perrier in second place, Luka Kasatsa in third, and Marco Barindelli in 4th position. So those are the results from race 2, and giving Sarrazin a great advantage in the final classification and maximum points from the first round of the European Championship. We're going to come back with action from the top class, the Formula Super A, in just a moment.
Euros.